Thank you for tuning in to an audio reading of From a Moment to a Lifetime, Alchemizing Survival Energy into Soul Power. This is your free guide to a life of invigoration. For a download of this audio reading, you can go to my website, www.risewhereyouare.com, and click on Free Resources, and you'll find it there. This is presented by Rise and Thrive LLC and written by me, Ashley and Blanco. Let's get started. There is not one resource in the form of a book, podcast, conversation, reading, or prayer that's going to take care of everything you've been through so you can get to where you want to be. Nevertheless, I am confident this guide will add value to where you are in your journey if your heart is open to it. This resource will help you to seize your moments of joy and expand them into a lifetime of fulfillment. And of course, this is lifelong work. America is a traumatizing country for many. The haves continue to have, and the have-nots continue to have not. But what if I told you that the key to a life of invigoration is to alchemize the survival energy you've developed into an energy that grounds you and lifts you for the life of your dreams? Alchemy is the science of transforming metals into gold. What if I told you that the pain, loss, and disappointment you've experienced, the metals in the form of alchemy, contained the possibilities for the gold, the life the Most High created you to live? Would you believe me? The devastating thing about pain, unresolved pain, chronic stress, and perpetual trauma is they all have the power to stunt our human and spiritual development. They also fuel our egos for self-absorption, self-abandonment, shrinking, puffing up, and disassociating from ourselves. My intention is to help you and I continue or begin to transform the events that get in our way, the matters, into the goal of who we are, how we see, and how we live. Just like one bad, quote-unquote, bad moment can create a series of events that shift the trajectory of our lives, there are life-giving, love-complete moments that can shift the trajectory of our lives for the better. A few years ago, I told my sister that I felt like I had joy, but I wasn't happy. You may be wondering, how can that be? How can you have joy and still not be happy? There was a certain level of spiritual and psychological conditioning I experienced. On one hand, I conditioned myself to believe that joy is eternal and something that we could always have, regardless of our connection to God, no matter what I or we go through. Nevertheless, I wasn't happy because, on the other hand, I internalized messages about my happiness being less important than living a life that helped others. You can imagine the type of mental angst this produced. The verbal confession to my sister, the honest verbal confession to my sister that I wasn't happy, catapulted me into shifting my priorities. It was also the start of another spiritual revolution in my life. I would learn that I needed to create pathways within myself to sustain moments of joy and invigoration so they wouldn't seem so fleeting. I did this in a few ways. Some of them I was not aware of until I began to focus more on what I was doing instead of focusing on everything around me. I will share with you some of the things I practice. Let's get started. Point number 1, surrender the should. Every time something happens unexpectedly and I think I could have had more influence in changing the outcome or changing how I could have felt because of the outcome, I have to surrender the should. As many times as I think someone or something should have been different, I have to surrender the should. Surrendering the should creates the space we need within ourselves to transform, to alchemize the survival energy back into our soul power and its gold source of love. To live in the should is a painful place. It is full of regret and sorrow. Some of us spend many years here waiting for someone to help us, save us, or fix us. But the truth of the matter is this waiting room is a dangerous place. What feels like hope for the better is coupled with the belief that nothing can change. At some level, it's true because we can't change the past in some sense. But on another level, it's not true because things can change for us. Things can get better. Our commitment to our inner work helps us to become more receptive to the divine feedback that helps us transform. Willingness is essential. If you are hurting right now or are disappointed with yourself or another person in any way, this is a good place to surrender. Surrender what you think should be and who you think you should be. As you do this, you will experience your wholeness. Wounds don't validate our resilience. Resilience allows the natural intelligence of our bodies and spirits to heal our wounds. But first, we must surrender. Surrender the should. Point number 2, forgive yourself. Forgiveness of self is underrated. I have been a follower of Christ for almost 14 years, so I have responded to many altar calls locally and abroad. I've been on retreats, attended prayer meetings, led prayer meetings, and shifted atmospheres with charismatic prayer. I've done a tremendous amount of external forgiving of others, that is. But what I was missing was a deep work of self-forgiveness. Until I incorporated Ian Levanzant's book titled Forgiveness into my spiritual practice, I had not experienced the unprecedented power of self-forgiveness. Diving into forgiveness, the way she sets it up, awakened me to new possibilities. I would venture to say many of us are unaware of the possibilities for our personal freedom until we get into the deep work of forgiving ourselves. Start forgiving yourself today. Enlist the help of trusted others. Doing this will help you to address what is in the subconscious and make the subconscious more of our servants rather than our guide. Number 3, become your compassionate close friend. Many of us have seen the memes, read the quotes, and read the books that highlight the importance of self-talk. What I will say is that learning to talk to yourself in a way that you would a compassionate friend is key to alchemizing your survival energy into your soul power. If you wouldn't talk to a person the way you talk to the person you love, the way you talk to yourself, it's time to re-examine your self-talk. Be as much of a friend to yourself as you are a constructive critic. Constant self-critique and brutal self-criticism only hurt you in the long run. Point number 4, embrace the simplicity of your life. Many of us want to understand the mysteries of life, the complexities of life, and overcome all challenges and difficulties life has. We complicate things trying to make them simple, when many times things are simple without added complication. Look for the ways in which life speaks to you simply. What is the Most High revealing to you in pictures, sounds, words, and sceneries? To find your answer, all you have to do is be available to listen. If you think you will be smarter because you've uncovered complex things, you may find yourself in a foolish position. If you seek wisdom and simplicity, your heart will expand to receive more of what life has for you. You will also find yourself alchemizing your survival energy into your soul power. And now to my last point. Number 5, immerse yourself into action. The only thing you need to get started is faith, that you embody what you dream as you pursue what you dream. Your desire to realize your greatest potential is proof that you were created by the author and finisher of glory. Your desire to be authentic, to be only you and do what you came to earth to do, is proof that you were designed in purpose on purpose. So take action on what you know you came to do. If it honors the Most High, is for the greatest good of yourself and humanity, and you feel alive when you are doing it, that is probably where your soul work is. In the place of embodying your greatest potential and realizing your greatest potential is the place of oneness. So immerse yourself into action and experience the oneness, that oneness. Immersing myself into action keeps me connected to my purpose even when I am in pain. It also reveals to me my authentic self. Many of us don't take action on pursuing our dreams because we don't believe we have what it takes. Optimal mental health and spiritual health help us to take action. Taking action gives us the evidence that all we need is already inside of us. Every success is simply a function or overflow of the cosmic activity within. With that, you don't have to fear failure or see it as not an option. You see failure as part of the Most High's plan for you to realize your greatest you. At that level, failure is nothing to be guilty or ashamed of. It is simply a natural part of your learning and growth. If you are ready to take your growth to the next level, purchase a copy of my Declutter Your Heart Space program, and you can find it on my website under programs. If you want one-on-one support with immersing yourself into action so you can realize your greatest you, Roar Life Coaching is for you. ROAR is an acronym for Realizing Our Riches and Excellence. Schedule your discovery session with me today. The first 20 minutes are free. Now, if you download the actual resource after listening to this audio of it, you will find on the last page, and there's 5 pages, you find on the last page that there are some cutouts, and you can cut them out and paste them wherever you need some gentle reminders. Sending you peace and blessing. Thank you for tuning in to